Good evening, television fans. Big Al here on this Tuesday night. It is July 15th, 2025, and welcome to episode 11 of Television Station History. Today we'll be taking a look at the NJPBS Public Television Network. Now, this is a 4-station network comprising of PBS affiliates. And before we begin, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and get notified every time I go live. And here we go with the history of NJPBS. NJPBS, known prior as NJTV to 2021, is a public television network serving the state of New Jersey. The network is owned by the New Jersey Public Broadcasting Authority, or the NJPBA, an agency of the New Jersey state government which owns the licenses for all but one of the PBS member stations licensed in the state. NJPBA outsources the network's operations to Public Media NJ, a wholly owned subsidiary of New York City-based the WNET Group, formerly known as the Educational Broadcasting Corporation, and later as WNET.org, which is the parent company of Newark, New Jersey licensed WNET Channel 13, that's the primary PBS station in New York, and Garden City licensed WLIW Channel 21, which is New York's secondary PBS station. In addition to PBS programming, NJPBS airs shows distributed by American Public Television, and the network also produces and broadcasts its own programs, mostly related to issues in New Jersey. The operations of NJPBS are based in Englewood, New Jersey, with its anchor studio located at the Gateway Center in Newark. Master control and some internal operations are based out of WNET studios in the Worldwide Plaza complex in Midtown Manhattan. Alright, here are the specs of NJPBS. That is their general on-air brand. Their newscasts are branded as NJ Spotlight News. Alright, the station, this network began as NJTV on July 1st, 2011. It covers the entire state of New Jersey, plus the New York and Philadelphia television markets. It is owned by the New Jersey Public Broadcasting Authority and operated by Public Media NJ. Their sister stations are WLIW and WNET. The network broadcast initially as NJTV from 2011 to 2021. Call sign meanings for all 4 stations is New Jersey and the 4th letter, and we'll talk about the stations along the network shortly. They are affiliated with both PBS and NHK World. Station website is www.njpbs.org, and their news website is www.njspotlightnews.org. And this replaced the old New Jersey network, or NJN, which we'll talk about now. NJPBS is the successor to the New Jersey network, or NJN, the state-controlled public television and radio service. NJN ceased operations on June 30th, 2011, and Public Media NJ took control of the former NJN television stations the following day. Alright, let's talk about their history. In 2008, officials with the New Jersey network asked the New Jersey legislature in 2008 for permission to explore making NJN an independent nonprofit organization. Under this scenario, the NJN licenses would have been transferred to the network's fundraising arm, the NJN Foundation. However, on June 6, 2011, New Jersey's governor at the time, Chris Christie, who vowed to end state-funded public broadcasting when he took office in 2010, announced an agreement to turn control of the NJN television network to WNET. As part of the deal, the then WNET.org created Public Media NJ as a separate New Jersey-based nonprofit to operate the stations. NJN itself was created in 1971, partly due to concerns that WNET and Philadelphia's main PBS station, WHYY-TV Channel 12, were not adequately serving their New Jersey viewers. Chad is in the house. What's up, Mr. Chad? Under the terms of the deal, the NJPBA would retain the licenses, but outsource the station's operations to Public Media NJ for 5 years, with 2 additional 5-year renewal options. Public Media NJ would receive funding from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and all revenues related to the former NJN technical operations. The measure was defeated by the State Assembly on June 23, 2011. The State Senate, however, passed a resolution on June 27th, allowing Public Media NJ to take over NJN's television operations as scheduled on July 1, 2011. The network would be relaunched as NJTV, and all members of NJN would automatically become members of NJTV. The first program to be aired on the new NJTV was Charlie Rose, which was produced by its sister station, WNET. On July 26, 2011, NJTV announced a partnership with the Foundation for New Jersey Public Broadcasting, formerly the NJN Foundation, to jointly fund and create additional public affairs programming. NJTV and the NJN Foundation would merge in September of 2012. As for the rebranding, on February 24, 2021, NJTV rebranded as today's NJPBS, adapting to the 2019 PBS rebrand recommended to its local stations. Programming. The Caucus Educational Corporation, or CEC, a nonprofit producer of New Jersey-focused public affairs programs, is under contract with Public Media NJ and WNET to provide original programming for NJPBS. CEC produces Caucus, New Jersey, State of Affairs, and One-on-One with Steve Adubato, which are hosted by the aforementioned Steve Adubato. CEC also produces the New Jersey Capitol Report, which ended a 7-year run in March 2017. NJPBS also broadcasts programming distributed by PBS, American Public Television, and additional local productions. Locally produced programming from NJPBS includes American Songbook at NJPAC, Classroom Close-Up NJ, Driving Jersey, Due Process, On the Record, Que Pasa New Jersey, or Que Pasa NJ, I should say, Reporters Roundtable, State of the Arts, and This is South Jersey. News programming. At the inauguration of NJPBS as NJTV, The network launched NJ Today, a half-hour newscast that replaced NJN News and was aired at its former weekday time slots of 6, 7:30, and 11 p.m. It was originally anchored by WNET personality Raphael Pi Roman. Mike Schneider later took over the anchor role, and it was renamed to NJTV News on November 4, 2013. On June 12, 2014, Schneider announced his retirement as anchor on NJTV News and was replaced by veteran journalist Mary Alice Williams on July 1st. Williams would later leave the newscast after March 13, 2020, to help care for family members who were suffering from health problems. She eventually announced the following month on April 27th that she would step down as anchor of NJTV News. She was succeeded by Brianna Venazzi, who had anchored the newscast since March 15, 2020, and she was an interim anchor until September 9th, when she became full-time. Schneider still appears on the other WNET and NJTV produced programs, including WNET's Metro Focus, and NJTV News is produced at the Agnes Veris Studio in 2 Gateway Center in Newark. The newscast can also be seen on sister station WNET and online via YouTube and on NJTV's website. Because of WNET, as well as its sister station WLIW and WHYY carrying PBS NewsHour, NJPBS does not carry that program to avoid unnecessary duplication. Michael Aaron, NJN's news director at its closure and a former member of the foundation's board, revived his former NJN programs Reporters Roundtable and On the Record on NJTV. He also appears on NJTV News as its chief political correspondent. NJ Spotlight News. On October 5th, 2020, NJTV's newsroom merged with the New Jersey news site NJ Spotlight, which was acquired by WNET in 2019, and the newscast would be rebranded as NJ Spotlight News. In May 2022, NJ Spotlight News released its first podcast series, Hazard NJ, hosted by journalist Jordan Gaspori. Lottery drawings. When NJN shut down operations, no New Jersey lottery drawings were aired until September 8, 2011 on a tape delay. Before this happened, the New Jersey Lottery had no other outlet to showcase any of their live drawings except via online live streaming services such as Ustream and Livestream.com. NJTV continued hosting the tape delayed drawings until January 1st, 2013, when the drawings were moved to 2 CBS-owned stations, WLNY in New York and WPSG-TV in Philadelphia. From 2014 to 2020, lottery drawings were aired live on WPIX and WPHL-TV respectively. And as of 2020, no drawings for the state lottery are televised. Instead, the lottery's afternoon, evening, and cash for life drawings are carried on the lottery's website and social media platforms. Powerball and Mega Millions drawings were never aired on NJTV, as WTXF-TV in Philadelphia and WABC-TV in New York air these drawings, with the latter occasionally airing Powerball drawings at certain occasions. Alright, as for the stations, NJPBS's 4 full-power stations reach a potential audience of almost 28 million people in parts of 6 states, including all of New Jersey and parts of New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. While this gives NJPBS one of the larger potential audiences in the country, it also must compete directly against 3 of the most watched PBS member stations in the U.S. Their New York sister stations, WNET and WLIW, as well as Philadelphia's WHYY-TV. Anna's in the house, what's up? Additionally, WLVT-TV Channel 39 in Allentown, Pennsylvania, overlaps some of NJPBS's broadcast area. In the FCC and Senate auction concluded in 2017, WNJN and WNJT spectrum was sold back to the FCC for $138,059,363 and $193,892,273 respectively. NJPBS has announced that these stations will share spectrum with the 2 remaining stations, both WNJS and WNJB. On January 23, 2018, per FCC filings, WNJN began channel sharing with WNJB, while WNJT began channel sharing with WNJS. Now, these are the 4 stations that make up the network. The first station that signed on the air across the network was WNJT Trenton on Virtual Channel 52 and RF Channel 23. This station would begin the network on April 5, 1971. The second station to sign on across the network was WNJS Camden on Virtual and RF Digital Channel 23 on October 23, 1972. Now, both of these stations, especially WNJS, goes into the Philadelphia television market. The remaining 2 stations would sign on June 2, 1973, and both would target portions of the New York City TV market, including WNJB New Brunswick on Channel 58 and WNJN Montclair on Channel 50, both broadcasting on RF Digital Channel 8. WNJB used the call sign WTLV during its construction permit until April 30th, 1971, and WNJN used the call sign WNJM from its 1973 sign-on until 1994, and was WNJN TV from May 1st through June 1st of 1994. NJPBS also operates 3 translators across the state, including W23EX Channel 23 in Sussex, New Jersey, W27EC Channel 27 in Belvedere, New Jersey, and W29EV Channel 29 in Hackettstown, New Jersey. Cable and satellite availability. NJPBS is available on all New Jersey cable providers, along with most cable, satellite, and IPTV providers in the New York and Philadelphia markets. Into New York State, Delaware, and Pennsylvania, with some limited availability in Fairfield County, Connecticut, and Cecil County, Maryland. Joey's in the house. What's poppin', homie? Alright, technical information and subchannels. The signals of the NJPBS stations are multiplexed, and there are only 2 digital subchannels for all 4 stations across the network, both broadcasting in 1080i high definition with a 16:9 aspect ratio. The first digital subchannel is main programming from NJPBS. And on the second digital subchannel of all 4 stations is NHK World. And that is a look at the NJPBS Public Television Network from across the state of New Jersey. We're just about done with the New York City television market. I have a couple more stations to look at. The next one we'll be taking a look at is WPXN TV, which is a part of Ion Television, and we'll tell you about that station coming up here in episode number 12, and that will be coming out tomorrow. So make sure you join me for that. So we'll be taking a look at WPXN TV, and then we'll look at WLNY TV and WFUT DT. So we have 3 stations left before we move to the Los Angeles market. So that's going to do it for today. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching, and join me next time for episode 12 of TV Station History. Peace out.